The information provided by Trading Forex Price Action to you does not constitute personal financial advice. The information provided is of a general nature only and does not take into account your individual objectives, financial situation, or needs. It should not be used, relied upon, or treated as a substitute for specific professional advice.
Midweek Analysis.
Hey guys, this is a midweek analysis for March 23rd of 2022. Okay, we'll start off with the Euro-Yen pair. This is a weekly chart. Let me run you by the current setup I was looking at. So initially the last long trade that formed was right here. However, last year at this point right here, there was compact short price action that formed, which shows strong short strength. And so the bias was short. Or in other words, price was likely to reach this pivot low before reaching this pivot high. And so as price pulled back to these areas right here, I took multiple short entries with a stop loss at this pivot high right here. Now as price fell all the way down to these levels, I was maintaining that last short position I took. And then last week at this point right here, there was actually a new long trade that formed. Now at that point, in my opinion, the bias was still short. However, the target has changed and price was now likely to reach this pivot low right here before reaching this pivot high. And so if you recall my weekly forecast at this level right here, there was confirmation of strong long strength on the 1 hour chart. However, I maintained 100% of that last short entry I took. And then moreover, 2 days ago, there was actually another 1 hour confirmation at these levels right here of strong long strength. But I still maintained 100% of this short position, still thinking that this compact short price action was still stronger than this last long trade that formed right here. And then last night, that stop loss was hit right here, and I took a loss of about $1,800. And moreover, on the weekly forecast I was mentioning, I will not be taking any further short entries unless there was confirmation of strong long strength to the short side, and that never formed. Alright, so let me just explain to you what happened in these areas right here, and moreover what I learned from this loss. So let's go over to the 1 hour chart. Okay, so on this 1 hour chart, if you recall in the weekly forecast, I was mentioning there was strong long strength that formed at this area through a breakout and break back in. However, price was still able to recover and reach the pivot high where that short strength was created, thus creating strong long strength. And then moreover, as price came up to these levels right here this week, there was actually another strong long confirmation. Now that's from this trend line, from this pivot to this pivot right here. Also at this point right here, there was a breakout and immediate break back in. However, price was still able to recover and reach that pivot high where that short strength was created right here, signaling strong long strength. Okay, and at this point, recall I entered that last short position from 3 weeks ago at the 131.50 levels, roughly around here. However, I did not abort that short position, even though there was actually a second signal of strong long strength confirmed at this pivot high right here. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I took about a $1,800 loss for this trade. Now that was due to the overwhelming confidence I had in that weekly short trade. Now that's even though the lower time frames were obviously showing strong signs of long strength and actually confirming that that weekly bias was long at this point. And so I did not abort that short trade and took the full loss at the 133.67 levels right here. Now if I aborted on this obvious second sign of long strength at this 131.75 levels right here, well, that would have just been a 25 pip loss. So in other words, the loss may have been perhaps just a mere $300. Alright, so this is a good example of not trading what I see logically. We're on this 1 hour chart. This second strong long confirmation, if I didn't have an overwhelming attachment to that weekly short bias, I would actually take a long entry with the stop loss at this pivot low right here. For 1 hour confirmation of long strength consecutively is actually pretty rare. Okay, so what I learned from this is a reoccurring theme in my trading is as I get better at calling higher time frame biases, I get too attached to the idea of being right or wrong that the lower time frames confirmation tends to take a back seat, or perhaps I start thinking, well, price will actually begin to make short-term short strong confirmation. So for example, something like from this trend line, from this pivot to this pivot right here, and believe that there will be a breakout and a break back in. However, price could still reach that pivot low to create strong short strength. All right, so the bottom line is that the lower confirmation is always going to be, and always should be, number one in the priority list when it comes to deciding biases on the higher time frames. All right, so let me actually show you the long elements of that last weekly long trade that overpowered that compact short price action. So let's go over to the monthly chart. Okay, so on this monthly chart, that compact short price action formed in this area right here, and that last long trade formed roughly in these areas right here. Now, although compact short price action shows extreme short strength, it was not able to override the following price elements long. Now, first of all, as you can see, we had two gaps right here, rather large, and moreover, although I did not depict them here, there was actually a total of 6 gaps in this area. Now, there was another one in these areas right here, which is about the same size, and more miniature ones all along these areas too. There was actually one in between here too, I believe. Okay, so there was 6 gaps that was providing future long strength in this area. And moreover, we had a legitimate trend line from this pivot to this pivot right here. And moreover, another horizontal trend line that runs right through these levels also. Okay, so this is a good example of how, although compact price action shows extreme strength, if you have this many elements providing opposing long strength, it can override this short strength. Okay, so let me just wrap this up and we'll show you what I'll be looking for from this point on. Let's go back to the weekly chart. All right, so on this weekly chart, since this last long trade right here did hit its main target already at this compact short price action level right here, at this point, I'll be waiting for another weekly short trade to form, and then I'll gauge the future strength of this short trade against this long trade to come up with a new weekly bias, whether long or short. Okay. All right, so that's it for the midweek analysis. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. And thanks for watching, guys. Okay, bye.